Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday. I hope you guys had a good week as always and that your weekend has started well as well. So I can see you guys already in the live chat room, so hello to everybody in there. Let's give some quick shout outs. We have Alison, B, Ro, Laurie, Bob, Billy, Paul, Christian, Lisa, Little Lost Kitten, Peggy, Debbie, Arlene, and I was going through too quickly now to keep up. So thank you everybody for joining me tonight on this Saturday night. Opening with Paris Nord. Thank you guys for requesting that over on Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, let me get the names of my patrons up on screen because they make this all possible in the first place. So thank you guys. You know who you are, and as I always say, they are the foundation of everything that I do, and I wouldn't be making the videos or even be able to make the videos that I do on the channel and just everything that I do if it weren't for the people's support at the bottom of the screen. So yeah, thank you guys. And we will get up on screen as well tonight's likes goal, because I'm not sure if this is right or not, but we're aiming for 415 likes tonight. So if you could leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be very much appreciated. And we are aiming to try and get to 415 in order to have Phil Jam number 273. Just checking that that is the case, and yes it is. So number 273, if we do hit the target of 415, then we will bust out the guitar, have a jam, and see what happens. Let's see what is happening with the likeometer at the moment. We are currently at 221 likes. So thank you everyone for hitting the thumbs up, and it means I was just jumped up again. So we had a bit of a spike of the likes going on. But it means that we're looking for definitely under 200. I'm going to go for 184. I don't know whether that's right now. It's moved again. So it's going to be maybe 180, 179 now. I'm not sure whether my maths is correct tonight. My brain is just throwing numbers out there. But yeah, a good start. I always say that when we get the likeometer up on screen, if we manage to get to 200, it's usually quite a good start to the live stream. So yeah, 243 is great, but we'll keep an eye on that and see where we end up with it. So a lot of stuff going on recently on the channel, and also me kind of catching up with stuff, and lots of messages that I'm still not exactly up to date with, and this is all because I got put behind a couple of weeks ago because I had a Thursday away in London doing some interesting stuff for a TV thing in the future. But it just means that I'm now gradually catching up with everything that's going on with the emails, so I'll still be getting through those. We've also had, of course, the normal videos that I release on the channel, and we will be having a troll corner again tonight, because it seems like the whole AI discussion is one that is ripe at the moment, or rife, but everyone is talking about it on the internet in general, but especially on YouTube. And I think because I did a video on it recently, and I said that it was a bit of a rant, by myself, because people have been emailing me with what they do and how they use AI and how they consider what they do as being a musician. But I will address the kind of messages that I get later on. But I'm still getting messages where people are using AI and then still not seeing as using AI as something that detracts from them as a songwriter or a musician. And yeah, some people have asked for clarity, so I will do that a little bit later on. So we will jump into Troll Corner. Obviously it's I don't know, a hot topic, but obviously a controversial one as well, because there are a lot of people that do use AI to make music, and yeah, I guess because I'm totally different, because I've always just done everything myself and have total artistic control over everything that's going on, then thinking of allowing AI to come up with something for you is just a bit of a weird idea for me. Or if you have written a song and then you're using AI to kind of try and make it sound better, then you can make it sound. Yeah, for me it's still, well, surely that's a case of working at your production more or working at your playing ability more, all of these different things in order to get it to sound better. And yeah, we'll get into that later on. But I think last time we had, I'm just going to write a note here so I don't forget later to kind of talk about this, but also to do a trial corner. I know that in a stream recently we started out, I think, with Troll Corner because there were so many people talking about it. But yeah, we won't do that tonight. We will get into it a little bit later on. But let me get the donations tab up on the screen as well, because as I always say, you don't have to donate. Just watching is great. So thank you guys for watching, and you can hit the thumbs up if you want, leave a comment as well. It helps the live streams to get out there and for the channel to grow on the whole. So yeah, don't have to donate. But for those people that can't resist donating, I think it's important that they know between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below. So I just remembered something else about AI, but yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later on. I can see that there have been donations already, so thank you guys for these. And I will just jump into the super chat window because Paul donated $5 in there. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message is 507,000 subscribers. That is awesome. Let's have fun tonight, and please spike the likes. All y'all. Peace, love, and rock. So thank you for that, Paul. And let's get that on screen. But did I change it? I might have to just double check before it goes on screen. No, I didn't change it. Right, let me just do that quickly and pretend as if nothing's happened, because we have hit 507,000 subscribers. So thank you everyone for subscribing and checking out the videos. In order to get notified for the videos, you'll definitely have to hit the notification bell, and I think there might be a little checkbox that you can tick as well. But if you do want to get notified for all of the videos, then head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. I'll get that on screen as well as the 507,000 subscribers, so you guys know where to go. You can make a free account on there and you'll get emails or an email about each video when it's released, so that you don't miss any. And this sometimes happens, so yeah, I'll get rid of that, but this sometimes happens where people they email me, or they are emailing to request a video on a performance that I might have looked at 2 or 3 weeks previously, but they didn't get notified for that video. So yeah, it's important to make sure that if you are not wanting to miss a video, just in case it's something that you might request yourself, then yeah, definitely hit the notification bell, but head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. So now, Timothy donated $4.99 as well, so thank you for that, Timothy, and that's in the super chat window, and that's a straight up donation going over to PayPal because we've had a few donations in there. And first of all, Nicole donated £12, so thank you for that, and the message is, "Hi Phil, with you today, Saturday. Cheers and rock." So thank you for that. Cindy donated £15 as well. Thank you for that, Cindy. And the message is, congrats to Def Leppard, who received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame 2 days ago. Well deserved and well timed with your analysis. So thank you for that. And yeah, I mean, that was totally accidental that those two things crossed over, because the Def Leppard analysis that I released last night, obviously it's very good timing, but that was just a video that was requested, but the request, it was a really easy answer because the performance channel in question is one that has used pitch correction in the past. I've mentioned that it has been used in the past, so it's very easy for me to answer the email and say, oh yes, well, they've got history of doing it, so don't be surprised if the vocals are pitch corrected. But the good thing is that Joe Elliott's vocal was so clean and clear that you could hear what he was doing, and I hadn't really noticed before him getting into his falsetto sound, and how seamlessly he did that. So it's very interesting for me to take a look at. So I did call that a bit of a selfish analysis because it wasn't really breaking anything down for the person requesting it, who wanted to know, well, they wanted to know about pitch correction, but I could answer that very quickly. So I just found it interesting with Joe's voice and how he navigates between kind of chest voice and then falsetto. So anyway, thank you for that, Cindy. And Steve has donated £5. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, how do you manage dual leads with another guitarist? Is one of you considered the leader? So thank you for that, Steve. And I just had this image of guitarists. I know obviously dual leads means playing lead guitar at the same time. So you've got two lead guitars harmonizing with each other, playing different lines, or even sometimes playing the same lines, but that's not generally what bands do, because then it kind of defeats the point of having two instruments. You want them to be able to play something that doesn't necessarily step on the other's foot musically, or feet musically. So with harmony guitars, I just imagine like dual leads, actual guitar leads getting twisted round guitar players' legs and around your guitar, and then accidentally stepping on it and it getting yanked out of the guitar, and it was just a funny image that I had for a split second. But it depends in bands. If there is a designated lead guitarist, then they are really the leader, as they are the lead guitarist. But sometimes you'll have a band that have two lead guitarists and they play just as much lead guitar as each other. The only thing with playing two guitars and playing lead lines with two guitars is that your rhythm part is going to obviously drop out if you're not playing it on the guitar. So you can go from quite a full sound to now a sound that loses a lot of body. So this is why having three guitars is great, because one guitarist can keep that rhythm going, or having somebody playing keys, because then they can fill in that sound behind the twin lead guitars. But then sometimes it just has been a sound of the band and something that they're known for having dual lead guitars where they do break off, and this is the only option really that they'll get live. Sometimes in the studio they'll put in a bit of a cheeky rhythm track in the background, recording a bit of guitar, but then obviously playing live, doing that guitar will be impossible unless you get another guitarist along. So for live, you'll get a bit of a dropout. But then again, some bands just in the studio did keep it authentic and just played those two guitars, and it means that they didn't really have any rhythm in behind that. I mean, if you've got a great drummer and a great bassist, the bassist might be taking the bass for a bit of a walk in the background as well to keep it interesting. So I would say as for managing dual leads with another guitarist, it's all in rehearsals and as part of the song when you're writing it, what you want to do, and just rehearsal, making sure that it's tight and that you get your timing exactly right, and that obviously the notes that you're playing together are going to be harmonizing with each other and not clashing. So thank you for that, Steve. And Orlando's donated £5. So thank you for this, Orlando. And the message is, how would you describe or define chord progression? Would it be better to demonstrate? So thank you for that, Orlando. And I don't think I necessarily need to demonstrate this because it's quite straightforward, because a chord progression is a progression of chords. So what you'll have is your chord that you start with, and this is fancily referred to as your tonic. So it's like the key. So it means that you might start on, say for example, an A. So you're playing an A major chord. That's your first chord that you're going to be playing. And in order for that chord, or for the chords to progress, you've got to add another one in. So you start with your A, and we'll just go for A major here. And then let's just do like a blues. We'll go to D, and then we'll go to E. So now we've got a progression of chords. So we've got one chord to the next chord to the next chord. And what you'll find is that there are very common progressions. So it means that lots of songs use the same progressions, the same chords. So in popular music, there are a particular chord sequences, and you might have seen them referred to as, in the case that I've just done with the blues, like having a 1, 4, 5, for example, like having numbers with a particular chord sequence. And sometimes they're even written as like an I, instead of like 1, 2, 3. But all that's doing is giving you a really quick way of describing a progression, because some of them are so common that, if I said about having one, and for example, I might have to get out the guitar for this, but to demonstrate what I'm talking about. But when we start with the 1, that is always your chord that you're starting with, your tonic, your key. So that's given the number 1, because then everything else is in relation to where you started. So, I might grab the guitar here because we're going to have not a lesson really, but the chord progression thing is very easy to answer, because it's just one chord after the next chord after the next chord, and you'll get some progressions that are very popular, happen all the time. But then this is where, for more progressive bands, you'll have more chords, and you'll have chords that don't necessarily follow common patterns. And if you're throwing together chords that don't go together very well, then you can bet your bottom dollar they're not used very regularly. So it's all about having progressions that go together melodically. And as for deciding how you determine what is a melodic progression, again, that's subjective, but generally you're going to be having chords that share notes from their scales. So, for example, I don't know, I have to turn on the microphone very early on. So quickly, I know that I've got lots of stuff to get through, but here, the example that I gave, we have our A chord here and our D. Hopefully you can hear this. The E down to the D, down to the A. So when I said about a blues, starting with the kind of, you start there on your A, and then I go over to the D. Then anyway, so that's giving you your basic blues. So when we now try to break that down into the numbers, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4 here, 5. What I'm doing here is playing the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of like that. That's just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, major scale. And the numbers, if you're counting when you do that, 1, 2, remember 1 is where we start. That's the chord we start with. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4th is the D. So when I said about doing like a 1, 4, 5 for the blues, like that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are the numbers that each of those notes are given, so that we're going like that for 1, 4, 5. So I don't think this is exactly what Orlando is requesting, but defining a chord progression is going to be having a set of chords. I mean, you can probably type this into Google and get the definition, or the most common definition, but it's going to be a set of chords that together come across melodically. I guess you won't have a chord progression put together that is not melodic in some way. So yeah, it's got to kind of fit within those parameters, and you can do as many. I know we're just doing 3 chords here, but you can do as many chords as you like in your progression. And yeah, as for where you want to take it, it's up to you as a musician or a composer, whatever you happen to be doing. But yeah, this is I think something that you'll notice with lots of, I think on YouTube there are lots of videos where people are playing lots and lots and lots and lots of songs with the same chords, and that's the principle. That's what I mentioned earlier, that you have a particular set of chords that will go together that loads of songs use, that they're really common. And if you're playing lots of different songs, what will tend to happen is that they won't all be down at the bottom of the guitar like this, even though when people are playing through songs, they do play them all down at the bottom here. But all of the songs will be in different keys, so it's not technically true that they all use all of these chords. They use those chords, but the progression's starting in different places. So yeah, I guess that can be a little bit misleading when you see somebody playing lots of songs or singing this, lots of melodies from different songs over the same chords at the bottom of the guitar. Whereas, yeah, in real life, for example, if they started on an E minor, just that kind of thing, and Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day, and Oasis. Oh, they do the minor 7th actually. They're going to throw it all back to you. So that's Wonderwall. And you'll be able to go through loads of different songs that all use the same progressions, but this is the point. And yeah. And I'm not going to be belting out any singing, because then I'll wake everybody up down my street and they won't be very happy about it. So anyway, yeah, that is chord progressions and all that kind of stuff. I can see Orlando's just messaged again, says thank you for answering my question. Yes, it was perfect. I am a musical neophyte, so thank you for that. Right. Okay, there have been some other donations over on PayPal, so I will be jumping into those. But there have been some more actually in the Super Chat window, so let's go into that very quickly. And Orlando donated $5 and says, rest in peace, John Lodge, lead vocalist and bassist for the Moody Blues. He was 82. So thank you for that, Orlando. And Chrissy has donated $2.99. So thank you for that. And the message is, thanks for covering Rory Gallagher the other day. And that might be a video. And yeah, those videos, I think I haven't looked at Rory for ages, but people will get suggested videos that pop up from my channel that happened years and years ago. So it wasn't the fact that it was recorded the other day. It would have been something that it was a very long time ago. But thank you for watching. And Orlando donated $5 as well and says, I am watching US American football. I am listening to the live stream. So thank you for that. And Maltese has donated $9.99. So thank you for that. And the message is, Phil, your hair today is deliciously more fluffy than for the last live stream. Did you do anything different? And the answer to that is no. I never do anything differently, so it just decides what it wants to do. This side has decided that it wants to defeat gravity, and this side's decided it doesn't want to defeat gravity and just go straight down. So yeah, absolutely nothing done differently with my hair tonight. Such is the life of my hair. It just does what it does. Sometimes it's more manageable, and sometimes it's an absolute nightmare. So thank you for that, Orlando. Again, just to reference this, $5 says, thank you for answering my question. Yes, it's perfect. I'm a musical neophyte. And then David has donated $5. So thank you for that. And the message is, hi Phil, thanks again for all you do, and the very best to you and your family. So thank you for that, David, and the same to you. We are going to be jumping over to the PayPal window to see what's going on over there. Tara has sent me I think this is a bit of a mistake. Tara has requested $5 from me, so thank you for that, Tara. I'm sure that'll sort itself out. But the message is, Phil, did you imagine when you started your channel you would have over 500,000 subscribers? No, I did. Well, I started my channel in either 2009 or 2011. I can't remember. But I mean, the analysis videos, I guess, are relatively more recent. So, when did I start doing them? Maybe 2016 or 2017, something like that. But yeah, with the, I don't think anybody imagines that they'll get like probably hundreds of thousands, but over 500,000 is a bit crazy. So yeah, when I first started, I didn't expect that at all, or I didn't really have any targets or anything. I just did what I did, and it all started from Patreon, and a few of my patrons asking me to analyze different performances, and what was this guitarist doing, and why does it sound like that, and it's something that I could then demonstrate and explain. And it just so happened that lots more people started watching the analysis videos that I was doing. So yeah, it's a bit of an accidental crossover from what I was doing anyway, and teaching guitar, it just naturally went into then explaining things about the guitar and about different performances. And yeah, I'm trying to remember, one of the first videos was a particular performance at I think it was maybe the Country Music Awards, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but I can't remember his name. But yeah, he kind of played a solo, and lots of people were doing videos on it at the time, and were just kind of saying that he totally messed up, and all this kind of stuff. Whereas I wanted to put out a bit more of a balanced view of it as a guitarist myself, of the difference between playing consciously and playing subconsciously. And when you throw everything into that subconscious bucket, if it doesn't get loaded up, it means that you're going to really struggle. Because to explain it really quickly, it means that you've learned to solo. So you've effectively figured everything out ahead of time. So you think, right, I've got this 20-second solo. Might be a 10-second solo. Let's say 10 seconds for the sake of argument. So I've got this 10-second solo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, and I'm going to play this note, this note, this note, this note. Then I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to go into that technique. Then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to finish with this run, and I'm going to end on this bend. And you play through that, and you learn that way of doing it. So when it now comes to the show, the performance, when the cameras are on and it's your time to shine and kind of do your solo, there are so many things that can put you on, and this is why playing live as much as you can is great, because there are so many things that can throw you off and it can put you off. The more you play live, the more you'll encounter all of these things, and they won't put you off because you've already had that happen, so you're used to it in the past. But anyway, so it means that when you then walk forward, so maybe somebody can let me know in the live chat room what the guy's name was, because I know his name, but because, oh, I was going to say, because he's got brothers, and then it said Jonas Brothers, and it might have been something like Nick Jonas. I don't know the Jonas Brothers, but it was one of them that was doing this guitar solo, and yeah, it was his time to then play his solo, and he obviously didn't remember what he had worked out. And when that happens, the problem is that once you miss that first part, it's like, well, what's the rest of it? Because now you're behind. You have to now try and catch up with where you should be with what you've worked out. But the problem is that, sadly, he never got it back because he couldn't remember what he did, because he kind of got thrown off on that first part. So the alternative to that is to have a solo roughly worked out. I would advise that just knowing the key is the best place to start, so that you should be able to extemporize if you are a guitarist. It's something that you should learn to do, really, so that no matter what's thrown at you, if you know the key, then it doesn't really matter what happens, because you'll know exactly what you can play, and where you can extemporize within different scales and shapes that you know. So even if everything drops out of your head, as soon as you're about to play the solo, you'll still know. You're just basically going to be improvising for the next 10 seconds. And, when you do get good at it, you can start to improvise into a solo that is like something you've worked out. So you just start off with, different techniques, and then just work it out that at the end you have a little run up that you do to then a bend as your last note. Always sounds good. Bend, vibrato, that's the end of the solo. And then nobody's any the wiser that you've totally forgotten everything that you'd worked out previously. So, yeah, that's one of the first kind of analysis videos that I did, kind of explaining the difference between those two approaches of playing. And I mean, that's what I do at the end of the live streams if we do hit the target. And by the way, we're looking for 415 likes tonight, and we are at 345. So if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated, because then we'll bust out the guitar, we'll have a jam, and I'll just demonstrate what I'm talking about. Where, I mean, when you do get really familiar with just playing over sound and backing, you won't even need to know the key, and you'll be able to play a solo along to whatever the sound is. So yeah, I'll be demonstrating that at the end of the live stream if we do hit the likes goal for tonight, where it's just playing consciously. So you'll never, tonight's where is it? Tonight's backing track is 6 minutes and 11 seconds. So it means that you'll be playing for 6 minutes and 11 seconds, just something that you're coming up with. And it's always great to have that in your back pocket. You can work out solos live, which is great, and a lot of people do that. They have their kind of showpiece that they do, and it's all pre-worked out, and might sound very impressive, but it's always good to have in your back pocket in case everything goes wrong and you can't remember what you're doing, to then be able to extemporize and just play along with it, with whatever's going on. It doesn't really matter. Even being told what the key is, and not even what the changes are necessarily going to be. You can kind of roll with it and just extemporize. But anyway, we will continue. But thank you for that, Tara, that request. And Tara's now donated £3.59. So thank you for that. And that's then, I think, cancelled the request that we just had. Tara has done that, so thank you for that. Karen's donated £5.40. So thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, hi Phil, congrats on hitting 507,000 subscribers. Pablo Picasso said, everything you can imagine is real. Do you agree, disagree, have an opinion on this quote? Thanks for all you do. Cheers, Karen. Everything you can imagine is real. Well, I guess it's real in your imagination. So yeah, everything you can imagine is real. I'm not entirely sure that is or would be true, because if I imagine that there's no gravity on Earth, it doesn't mean that is real. Because maybe just everything you can imagine in your head is real. That's what I'd go with for that particular quote. So thank you for that. Or at least that's how I envisage it. If it's about, maybe manifesting things, imagining things, and then trying to get them to happen, all that kind of stuff, then yeah, I can believe that to a certain extent. That, I mean, for some people it might work, that they feel like, yeah, kind of manifesting what they want to achieve. But I think also just setting goals is kind of the same thing, that you can imagine it really clearly and then hope that it comes to that it comes to fruition. Or you can set a goal, and then, I mean, what I tend to do is I have a goal, or at least I used to have a goal. This is how I worked. And then I'd work out from the goal backwards to where I am, all of the things that I need to do in order to achieve that goal. And generally this was like, getting radio airplay, that kind of thing. So you end up with radio airplay. So what do you need to get radio airplay? Well, first of all, you need the song. So you think, well, how do you record a song? Well, you need to learn about production. And then when you learn about production, well, how do you record? You think, well, you've got to be able to play an instrument. You've got to be able to play multiple instruments. And then you've got to be able to sing. So then you break all of this down. And obviously I already did a lot of stuff, so I didn't have to worry about those things. But it was then a case of, recording and learning about production and, recording songs myself. And then, like, how do I get it onto the radio, and finding DJ's addresses, or should I say the radio station's address. And then, getting a train into London like 5 a.m. to get to the right DJs and all that kind of stuff. So it's breaking that goal down into different things, kind of bite-sized chunks that are achievable. So I'm not really manifesting anything. I guess I'm thinking about all the steps I need to take, and then I just make those steps happen, because that's something that I can control. I can make a song, I can learn about production, I can get a train into London, all this kind of stuff. So it's all within your own control. So yeah, but again, going back to my point that no matter how much I try to manifest there being no gravity on Earth, that's not going to happen. So I think it's, there are limits to what you can manifest. They've all got to be within the laws of physics, or the current laws of physics that we understand. So thank you for that. And Karen's donated £2.15 again and says, Phil, I loved your Def Leppard analysis. The smile on your face while you described Joe's vocal techniques was infectious. Bravo for keeping it real. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that. And Deborah has donated £5. Thank you for that, Deborah. And the message is, could you give an analysis of your hair tonight? One side is extra fluffy. I think this might have been something that came through before I started talking about my fluffy hair. So thank you for that, Deborah. H.L. Ferguson has donated £20 and 81 pence. So thank you for that. And that is a straight up donation. Sue's donated £5 as well. And the message is, Phil, you have the kindest followers in your super chat window. It is refreshing in the world in which we live. So thank you for that, Sue. And it's a bit of an escape from everything going on in the world. Walt has donated £7 and 18 pence. So thank you for that, Walt. And the message is, thanks for all your content. Will not ever watch or listen to auto-tune content or creators that use them. I can now, due to you, recognize and not support fake music. So thank you for that. And I mean, the whole AI thing, and it's midnight already, but the whole AI thing, and that's kind of taking it a step further. I mean, using auto-tune live, for example, means that you're not actually hearing that the singer's voice is being taken to places that it's not going naturally. So that is not a true representation of their voice at the time. But when we get into AI, which we will jump into soon, it's a totally different kettle of fish. So anyway, Crizzy has donated $2.99. Says, rinse your hair with water and apple cider vinegar. Okay, I think I'll just stick to what I'm doing, because to me, apple cider vinegar, I think that's going to smell a bit. You know, if it smells like vinegar, I can't be here doing a live stream smelling vinegar. I don't think it's the nicest smell. Some people might like that smell, but I don't. So thank you for that, Crizzy. And Diamond Girl has donated $5. So thank you for that. And the message is, Phil, let's break the law and override the vote tonight. We just heard Iris. It is good, but we need a design for life. So thank you for that. And it's a democracy on the channel, so whatever gets voted for, that will be what we're going to be listening to. We can't start saying, oh, well, I want to hear that one, so we're going to listen to that one, rather than, and that goes for everybody in the live chat room. One person will say, I want to hear this one, another person will say, well, no, I want to hear the other one, and you're never going to win. So yeah, I always just pick randomly from the requests. And tonight is a Design for Life or Iris, and Iris is in the lead with 57% of the vote. So, right, something's just, I think, popped up on PayPal, and it's Kevin who's donated £1. Thank you for that, Kevin. And the message is, happy 74th birthday to John Mellencamp. So thank you for that, Kevin. Right. Now, maybe we'll get into Troll Corner, get this out of the way, and then we'll jump into the cover video, and then we'll jump into Picture Corner, I think we have tonight as well. So we've got, yeah, quite a lot to get through. So, right, let's jump into Troll Corner, and I'll see you guys in a second. Rock!
Oh, hello.
So, first of all, and these are going to be two AI things, or AI related comments from the channel this week, yeah, earlier in the week. So, oh, actually, before I get into Troll Corner, over on Justin Hawkins' channel, Justin has got a channel on YouTube where he does kind of reaction type videos, and he's spoken about Youngblood in the past. And yeah, I did a video on Youngblood and showing that he was using Auto-Tune live, and yeah, you know, I was just kind of pointing that out. And it's something that Justin has spoken about Youngblood in the past, about, yeah, just putting across his opinion, and that's all he was doing, really. And I think he got quite a lot of, I don't know, negative comments from people, obviously Youngblood fans who didn't like his appraisal of either him as an artist or his performance or whatever. And he did a video maybe a couple of days ago, something like that, and in the description he does link to my analysis video of the performances. So yeah, thank you to Justin for kind of spreading the word about that analysis and my channel, because Justin does reference it in his video. So just for those people wanting to check out kind of the science behind it, then he's left a link for people to check out my analysis video. Yeah, which is great. So yeah, moving on from that, and just to say quickly my piece on that, I think that not that what I do on my channel is opinion based. I'm basing it on objective facts that I'm presenting and objective data. But when somebody's asked for their opinion on a particular artist and then they give that opinion, I don't think then you can really have a go at somebody's opinion, because everybody's opinion is right to them. That's how opinions work. So to say that, oh no, your opinion is wrong, it can never be wrong. That person's opinion is their opinion. So yeah, I don't necessarily understand people that are then having a go at somebody just for expressing an opinion that they were asked to give. So yeah, that's what I'll say on that. But like I said, I keep my videos objective, so that what I'm showing is whatever it is, and whatever it is, it will be shown. And sometimes it will just be a fully live vocal, and sometimes it'll be an auto-tune vocal, sometimes it'll be a post-pitch corrected vocal, sometimes it will be a lip-synced or mind vocal, and this goes for instrumentally as well. Sometimes you might have bands that might not be playing the lead guitar, have overdubbed it, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll just tell you exactly what it is that we're listening to. But right, anyway, into this AI. and all this stuff. Oh, and by the way, Justin's band are called The Darkness. If you don't know who Justin is, you can go and check out his channel and listen to their music. Anyway, or his music. He was also in a band called Hot Leg, I do believe. I think that's between The Darkness when they started, then they had a bit of a break, and then he had Hot Leg and maybe some other bands, and then back to The Darkness again. But I believe in a thing called Love is one of his songs that you might know. It's kind of played all the time in football stadiums, but also on the radio. It's a very common tune. But anyway, now let's get into this AI thing, because first of all, the people that are sending me messages saying, you've said that people that use AI aren't musicians and all this kind of stuff, and that it isn't their song. And just to clarify, what I mean there is that I think as soon as, and rolling lots of things into one here, lots of messages that I've got, I think as soon as you use AI for any part of your project, whatever it might be, and I'm talking about music, but even for artwork on your album, if that's the route you're going to go down, it's always a bit of a risk for it then being flagged as AI content and AI generated content. So I'd always try to say, look, just keep it as natural as possible without AI. As soon as you say, for example, you've got a song that is yours, you've written it and you've played the riff, you've got the guitar in there, and you can't sing, and you kind of know what you want the vocal to be, and you therefore use AI to come up with the vocal for you. And you might even use AI to come up with the lyrical content, but even just using the vocal, you think, well, that is now using AI. So that can be flagged as AI, and it should be flagged as AI, because a significant part of that song is not you, is something that's been given to you, being created by something else. So anyway, so the other part is then, maybe mixing it with AI. And I mean, even mixing with AI, you can say, well, that can still be flagged as AI. Literally anything you use that is AI can result in your track being flagged as AI on streaming sites. And this is a question that I've been asked, saying, I only use AI to mix my song, and it's been flagged as AI on Spotify, but I only used it for this, or I only used it for that. If you're only using it for anything, that's going to be a problem. So, yeah, and this is why, there are people who are producers. And, I mean, some people have commented saying that, it's I'm not really the person to be talking with to these people that say, but I did this and this, and I only used AI for that, and that. Because myself, I haven't used AI for anything, because I've done it myself. And this is why I learned how to produce and watch loads of videos. And, back in the day, before, the internet was as popular, well, not really popular, but as advanced as it is now, I would get books on mixing and mastering and try to learn as much as I could about it. So I was learning how to do it. So then I had control of everything artistically. So I could do everything exactly the way that I wanted it to be done. I wasn't giving some other entity or AI my project for it then to be spat back at me with things that I haven't come up with. So yeah, using AI in any way could result in your song being then classed as AI, and you not being able to potentially upload it to Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you want to put it on. So I would suggest that just try to, if you've got a really good idea of what you want, then just try to do as much of it as you can and try and find somebody that can sing it, or again, this is something that I did, learn to sing. Just I don't know, maybe people don't want to do it because they think, but with AI, I can do this in 2 minutes. But learning to sing is going to take me, 6 months, maybe a year. And they think, but I don't want to do that. You think, well, you can either do that and never have your songs listed as AI, or you can do it in 2 minutes and now all of your stuff's going to be AI. So it's like, well, you've got to decide what you want. There's no shortcut around learning a skill, and there never will be. So that's what, again, another answer that I've given about AI, where people have said, about, and I think I referenced this in my video, about a whole kind of argument that started in the 1950s with electric guitars, because they said, and somebody said, it's exactly the same situation with AI that happened in the 1950s, where people started playing electric guitars, and of course the classical guitarists said, oh, that's not playing guitar, or that's totally different, or that's cheating, or that's something else. But I tried to explain, and I did say that I think the arguments are light years apart, because if I'm a guitarist and I play classical guitar and then I play electric guitar, I'm still the guitarist. I've still got the ability to do it. If somebody else decides to play an electric guitar, they've still got the ability to play that guitar. So suddenly, they could pick up a classical guitar and they'll start playing, or they'll go, hang on, I don't know how to play the guitar. I haven't got that skill. And then somebody says, oh, well, don't worry about it. Here's an electric guitar. And then they go, oh, wow. And then they start shredding, alternate picking. That doesn't happen. They still won't have the ability to play the instrument. So the argument, and I think the person might have taken offense to me just saying that the argument is light years apart, because they're totally different things. You cannot get AI to increase your level at doing something. So the argument is a totally different thing. So with AI, like I gave the example of me as a photographer, I've got no ability to do that whatsoever. But I can type into AI what I want, and it can give me that. And I haven't got the skill to produce what it's given me, but now I can say, oh, this is mine. And it's exactly the same as making songs. You won't have the ability to play the guitar or the lead guitar or the slide guitar, whatever it might be, on the track that you're saying is yours, and then you're claiming as a musician that you've made that. It's not the same argument as actually having the skill and just putting your instrument through another pedal, for example. You've still got to be able to play the instrument. So yeah, that was one thing. And then finally, this is again somebody that doesn't really understand what I'm saying. Kind of can't see it from the same point of view. But they said, Phil, you use AI to isolate vocals for your videos. So how is that any different? And and this is all in relation to people that are using AI to come up with songs that are scams. They're not telling people that it's AI, and then they're uploading it and trying to make money, trying to get donations, all of this stuff for the artist that doesn't exist. So first of all, I always say honesty is the most important thing. And Moises.ai that I use to isolate vocals, I have a video about it on my channel, and it's in the description of every video that I upload, so everybody knows what I use to isolate vocals. And there's the company as developers. I always say about AI that if you say to somebody, oh, in your song, which guitar did you use, which amp did you use, there's no answer for that because they don't know. And that's the difference, that if I'm using Moises.ai, the software developers, if they say, oh, Phil, yeah, but how does it work? I can say, well, that's not my area. You can talk to the people that develop the software and they will have answers for you. They won't say, oh, we don't know how our product works and how we program it. They will have answers. So, yeah, first of all, honesty. Everyone knows what I use to isolate vocals. And I think with all of the videos when I'm pointing about AI, if they were being honest about it, there'd be nothing for me to point out because everybody will already know that it's AI, that all of these songs that are being created. So, yeah, and what I'm doing is not creating something with AI. I'm using something to extract what already exists. So it's not adding anything to it. It's not pretending to be something it's not. It's using it in a professional capacity. And I think that AI has loads of positive applications, like the ways that it can be used to benefit humanity and for learning, I think is great, as I demonstrate on my channel, that it's given us the ability. I mean, obviously the music industry, ironically, would not be a fan of the fact that it's given us the ability to know what's going on and make the music industry more transparent. But that shows that it can be used when it's being used openly with transparency and honesty and for the purpose of, analysis and teaching, then yeah, it's a great tool to have. But there's going to be the other side of the fence where people are using it to try and scam people out of money and try to, pretend to be something that they're not. And on that side of things, you're always going to get people that are abusing it for that particular reason. But it's the same with everything in life, that you get some people that are using things for the benefit of humanity and doing things in a positive way. Other people will always be looking for loopholes as to how to make money with the technology. So, but this person, I don't think really understood what I was saying in my video. That it's like, well, you use that for isolating vocals. So how is that any different to creating a fake image and a fake song and try to get people to donate to you because of a fake song that doesn't exist and not disclosing you're using AI? How is that different? I guess the simple answer is honesty. If somebody asks me about it, and it's in my description of every video, I'm not trying to hide anything, and everybody knows the reason for its use, that it's for the whole point of the analysis. But anyway, it seems hang on, we've just had a ridiculous jump up of the likes, 717. I don't know what's going on here, because this happened before, and maybe it's, I don't know, maybe YouTube is having a problem with the likeometer thing that's displayed on the screen, but it definitely says 718 on my screen. So but anyway, AI, I think it's important to understand when or what context I'm talking about AI and its application, because isolating vocals is totally different. Totally different to setting up something, not disclosing it, and trying to earn money from it by deceiving people. So anyway, that is that. I could probably talk about this for a lot longer, but let's jump out of this. And quickly, just some donations that have come through. Karen's donated $5 and says, Phil, let's pretend newsflash pitch correction auto-tune miming and AI has been banned forever. Your reaction to the newsflash? Well, I would say, I would think it's a positive move for music, because it means that I think even then, you'd go right back to where getting on the radio was about your ability, and that's why everybody had to be the best, or had to be better than somebody else to get radio airplay. You had to have something that was kind of unique about you that other bands might have been missing out on. It wasn't always about just fundamental vocal ability. It's having the whole package of being just a band that might be a bit different, might be writing differently, might be putting on more of a show when they play. There's so many elements to it. But certainly I'm all for just natural vocals. I think that's what singing's all about. But anyway, Elaine's donated $2 and says TikTok, so thank you for that. And we will jump into tonight's cover video, which is going to be Iris, which had 57% of the vote. Thank you guys for this. And then we'll do Picture Corner after this. And of course, we're going to have a Phil Jam, because we're at 730 likes for some reason. And I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you after. Rock!
Up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I can taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your life. Sooner or later it's over, I just don't wanna miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd tears that ain't coming, or the moment of truth in your eyes, when everything feels like the movies. Yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. Whenever there's a made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
And there we have it. That was my version of Iris, the Goo Goo Dolls classic, of course. So, right. We just had a donation from Little Lost Kitten donating $5 saying, Phil, no worries. I think all of my personalities just hit the thumbs up. Laugh out loud. Just kidding. So thank you for that. And, Picture Corner. I've got the guitar, obviously. We're going to be having a Phil jam because 740 likes. Definitely hit 415 somehow, and just thinking how I'm going to set this up. I'm just going to click on this, get the screen capture going. I've still got on the microphone from earlier when I was demonstrating guitar, so hopefully it's not been echoing this whole time. But anyway, yeah, let's get this up on screen. First of all, we have Karen, who has sent in this picture saying, wearing the tie-dyed Wings of Pegasus shirt with Wings of Pegasus travel mug. So thank you for that. And next we have Vince saying, photo from a gig a few weeks ago. So thank you for that, Vince. And this is the final one, the third one. We have Barbara here that says, went to the Milwaukee Zoo with Andrew and wearing my Wings of Pegasus shirt. So thank you for that, and thank you to Laura for linking me to those pictures. And it's Laura's birthday, maybe today. Laura is celebrating my birthday with friends, so you have a great birthday. Hope it all goes well. Thank you for linking me to these pictures. And that is Picture Corner for tonight. Right, we're back to here. And, right, guitar on. Phil Jan number 273, which is this one. Advert, of course. Let me mute that. And this is Waves Loop, Guthrie Govan, backing track, Jam, S sharp minor. And this is coming from Beulah, B-U-L-A music. So we're just going to have a listen, along to this. As for the levels, we'll see how we go. But yeah, this is 6 minutes and 11 seconds. So I'm going to let it play through. And I can hear this one. Where's the red dude? There he is. What is happening here? Don't tell me that that's an advert in the middle of a jam track. We're about to find out. I can't even skip this. Now that might have just been a random end of... Was that 6 minutes that we were just playing for? I don't know. I'm going to have to wait till the end of this advert to find out exactly what just happened. And that was it. The end of the Phil Jam. All of a sudden. And yeah. Let me skip that advert that's trying to get into the live stream. But yeah, and by the way, after the Phil Jam, if it echoes, it's because I've got 2 mics on. So the mic that's picking up the guitar and the mic that I'm talking into. So yeah, don't worry about that. I'll turn off that mic. That was it. Talk about a sudden ending. No warning whatsoever. That it just suddenly stopped. So that was Waves Loop, Guthrie Govan, backing track, Jam, F sharp minor from BULA Music. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you for sending that my way, Joe. And yeah, with the great thing about that is that I could hear it quite clearly, which was good. And yeah, I think the last one that we had was really detuned and the guitar was a bit out of tune. And I think actually my guitar sounded a little bit sharp, or yeah, we're maybe what was that? 4 cents sharp. So yeah, my guitar sounded slightly sharp, but it's all right. When we got away with it, hopefully. Obviously, I can't really hear it out of your speakers, but hopefully, yeah. We got away with the Phil Jam. We are going to be calling things to a close now. Let me just make sure that we're up to date with everything. Ed has donated £20 over on PayPal, so thank you for that, Ed, and that is a straight up donation. And Paul's donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message is for the tip jar. Great job, Phil. So thank you for that. Right. That is it for tonight. I'm going to be here with another video tomorrow night, so look out for that one. Live streaming Tuesday night again. Look out for that. Greenwich Mean Time you will need to be locked into, and it's 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Tuesday night. So all that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!